Hey guys, it's Booty. Welcome back to some StarCraft 2 replay analysis action. Okay, the person that submitted this game is Soma, right here. The guy with the badass drone skins. I love that skin. And this is a silver game, but he was playing against a gold Terran. We're gonna see if we can help him out. Right, time to pay attention. Alright, so this is going to be a loss. All of them are going to be losses, for the record. I'm only going to be watching losses unless it's a win that's fucking hilarious. It looks like you're going for a typical hatch opener. And I suppose you'll get a 17 pool. Yeah. Oh, gas vent pool. I like it. And the Terran, he's going double racks. I actually don't see that very often. I'm surprised the Terran didn't rush for a natural, so I guess this is going to be a bit of an aggressive opener, perhaps? I mean, you never know in gold, right? Because normally you would, like, get tech or something. There it is now. Anyways, we got ourselves some Zerglin speed. It's good shit. We got, this is nitpicky, but I wouldn't make 6 Zerglings. I personally think that 4 Zerglings is fine, if you have the micro for it. And Queens zone the Reapers anyways, but it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so first things first, the macro is falling apart immediately. This is pretty standard stuff. You're still technically ahead of Terran, because he only has 1 base, and he's not getting this anytime soon. So it's not that bad, but it goes without saying, you should try not to focus too much on the Reaper. I know it's annoying, but, that's just kinda some shit you gotta deal with. Anyways, as far as spending your money goes, make drones, it's pretty standard to get some extra queens. Looks like you're already doing that. And you are banking a lot of gas, but you're not really using the gas. You probably forgot to use it because of the Reaper, if I had to guess. Okay, you're going for a quick third. It's a little bit risky because you don't know that there's a base here, right? So if he's doing an aggressive opener, you're kind of fucked because you went for this. So you really want to try to get some confirmation of what's going on in the Terran's base before you just rush a third. You got a little bit lucky on that. And this is inefficient. You gotta have a plan with your gas. It's very important to have a plan. I mean, there's a couple things you could do. You could go for a quick baneling nest. Not very efficient for a macro opener, in my opinion, but I mean, it would result in you spending your gas. Roaches are pretty standard in this matchup early on, to like fend off Hellions and whatnot. But other than that, if you're not going to be spending your gas, I would highly recommend just pulling these guys off as soon as you get the Zergling speed. That's what I do in most of my games. Unless I'm doing some kind of tech opener. Or, if you want to be cheeky, you can take off only 2 drones, that way you have at least 1 drone's worth. Because that gives you a little bit of a tiny bank of gas to rely on, but it's not really gonna mess up your economy because it's only 1 drone. Alright, let's continue. And yeah, you should have sent these Zerglings a long time ago out here. You need to have a spotter to run up this ramp, because if we look, you would have seen everything. There's not even any units at the ramp to stop you. And I'm pretty sure you could have seen the command center from this range. Yeah, definitely. Looks like you're getting some roaches now. But yeah, as I was saying, you want to get a Zergling up here to scout the ramp. Actually, do you even know that this is the Terran's base? I mean, technically you don't. Maybe you saw the Reaper come from here, but like, just think about it for a second. Let's just pretend that Terran is over here, and you just don't know that forever, because you don't send a Zergling up here. one factory, one starport. I imagine we're gonna have to deal with some Liberator harass, which is fucking obnoxious. And yeah, you didn't know this was over here. Wait, you do know it's there, but you're still looking over here. Maybe you thought there was like a hidden base. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's no real reason to send all your Zerglings over there when you see this. Okay, let's see how you're using your money. You do have a spire now, or lair, excuse me. You're getting Overlord speed. You still have a lot of gas you haven't spent. You could be getting roach speed right now. You could be getting a lot of roaches. Well, I guess you want to saturate this. But at the same time, if you just want to saturate the third base, why take the gases so quickly? You know what I mean? Goes without saying you should avoid this. Anyways, like I said a while ago in one of my older videos, your plan, your macro plan as Zerg should be as follows. You make drones, you get 16 workers for all the mineral patches on all 3 bases. You have maybe 1 gas geyser running for defense. And until then, you're not getting any gases. As soon as these are saturated, or they're about to be saturated, like the drones are morphing, then you can take the gases and start replacing those drones. But I think it's a little bit premature right now, and you don't really have any roaches. This is just inefficient. And you still haven't scouted Terran, so you have no idea what he's gonna do to you. Like, there could be a giant Oling coming right now, and you'd have no idea. Luckily, he's not really doing that. He might prepare for an attack soon, though. And you gotta have a... oh, shit. Oh, it's just a Reaper. Thought I missed some action there. Anyways, have a spotter, like, right here. I know there's a Widow Mine here, but you can just move it, like, right here. It doesn't have to be right up the ramp's ass. And once you start getting a lot of minerals and gas like this, there's a couple easy ways to dump it. First of all, a Baneling Nest. You still haven't made any roaches at all. I don't mind going for the static defense, although you only need, like, maybe 1 spine and 1 spore per base. Looks like you mostly did that except for over here. And it looks like you're about to get wrecked, because you are not very prepared for this. This is why having a spotter is important, and why you want to spend your money. You probably have a lot of, yeah, you have a lot of Queen energy backed up. Luckily the Terran is being slow, so that's actually going to buy you some time. Going for Roach Hydra, I like it, but you gotta get the roaches. It's very dangerous to just go straight into Hydras. You're getting a Spire too? Okay, this just tells me, oh shit, I'm not spending my money. Get all the tech. It's fine, bro. Okay, this is kind of annoying. You're gonna have to clean that up, boy. Ravagers are an easy way to spend your gas, by the way. Just make a bunch of roaches, turn them into Ravagers. You can dump 1,000 gas, like, instantly if you did that. You got enough roaches. You're getting the upgrades. It's a little bit late, but also, this may not seem like it's that important, but usually you want to put these in either your natural or your main base. I think it's a little bit risky to just put it in the third like this. I mean, you have this a little bit more secure than the other parts of the map. Slightly. But generally speaking, it's easier for a Terran, or anyone, to kill off your third than it is to get into the main and the natural. Speaking of which, Liberator harass. I would just move the Queen over here, auto. The trick is, I'm pretty sure you just noticed this, right? Yeah. You just pull the drones away, like in this corner. Looks like you're doing that. I can't really give you any advice on Spore Crawler placement, because obviously Liberators will just move around it. Optimal thing is to just get everything out of the way and just don't do that. Liberators will shit on every ground unit ever. It's disgusting. And yeah, it looks like the game's pretty much over at this point. You don't really have any units. Why is Terran just standing there? Take a look at your hotkeys. It's okay to hotkey the Evo chambers. I like to put those on the 7th control group. And you can like put this on 3, put this on 8. I mean, it's preference, but if you're intending on using a text structure and you want to try to be quick about using it, you might as well put it on a control group, right? A little bit nitpicky, but eh. And yeah, this game is pretty simple. You just gotta make units. You know, get all this saturated first, and then just make roaches. Don't greed it out too hard, because most Terrans are going to try to pressure you once they get 2 bases. Whether it's drops or an all-in. I guess this did end up being a bit of an all-in. But it shouldn't be as scary as it is. Like, you have 3 base economy. Like, this guy, he didn't really pressure you early game, so you had plenty of time to get all your shit together. I mean, he was inefficient about it. Like, he literally could have harassed you as soon as his Liberators were done, but he, like, dicked around for 30 minutes. This is also why scouting your Terran is important. As I've stated before, you would know if he's going to harass you or not. He could have, but he didn't. Yeah, GG. Alright, we got ourselves another replay from the same person, Selma. Another ZBT, Silver versus Silver this time around. He's going to be doing the same build orders as he did last game. Gonna skip ahead a little bit. Alright, we got our quick speed. We're leaving drones on here. See what you're gonna do with the gas. Yeah, I probably would have taken a drone or 2 off of this if you're not going to be sending it this quick. You got a decent number of drones, you're going for a 3rd base really quick again, which is good. One thing I've noticed in a lot of your replays so far is that you do emphasize macro and getting a 3rd base as quick as possible and expanding a good bit, which is good. That's better than most silver players. But you got to get them saturated, otherwise it's not going to be that effective. You do your macro a lot better this time around. It's not amazing, but I'm not going to be too hard on you. But you did get the Evo chambers at a pretty good time, I think. It's not too early. These are a little bit early, though. This is the first thing I noticed. Is you go for these blindly, and you didn't really scout the Terran at all. And as you can see, it would have been very easy for you to confirm whether or not the Terran even had a starport or when it's up. So around like 4 minutes, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, you could suicide the Overlord in there, you could see it's fine. Or you only just then need to start your spores and spines. There's also a lot of larvae you're not spending. Like in the last game. Oh, and this is another thing. You got these way too early. You got too many too early. This is why you want to have a spotter. I like to go for like 4 Zerglings, maybe 6 at the absolute worst. if I don't see anything. But these are all drones you could have made, and they're not doing anything for you. You're not going to break into here. You're not going to get into his main. These are pointless. He's not going to attack you. He's not going to harass you. You can definitely be a lot more greedy this time around. It's all about scouting information. See, this is why... I know that there are people out there that say stuff like, oh, you don't really need to worry about scouting at low levels, it's all about the macro, which, I mean, it's kind of true, but at the same time, a lot of the reason why people mess up their macro is because they don't have the proper scouting information, so they don't know if it's safe to make drones, or if it's safe to make units, or whatever. So they're pretty much just flipping a coin when they really don't need to. And low-level players don't really give a shit about denying scouting. Not by much. We could have killed these. Would be free Marines. You have your Aspire now. You gotta get these upgrades started. You just did, which is good. Ideally, you want to get them as soon as your Evo chambers are finished. You gotta get your Roach speed upgrade soon. See, like, everything is delayed, and you still have a lot of larvae you're not using, and I'm not sure why. Like, you already have these for defense anyways. You know what I mean? And controlling these is important. It looks like you were aware that these were here. But yeah, this is a big important part of the map you want to control. Giant chunk of vision you don't get access to. Macro hatches. I'm telling you, they help a lot when your macro's falling behind. Whether it's because of queens, not injecting, or you're not making units with your larva. Alright, you did become aware that you needed to take control of these. Well, you at least took them away from the turn, which is better than just leaving it there, but it's only 2 Zerglings, there's no harm in putting this here. I do like that you're using more than one control group for your units. Because a lot of people would rely on shit like just 1A all day. Which isn't terrible at this level, but there's a lot of things, a lot of efficiency you're missing out on as a result of that. That was a very silly scan. Would have been smarter to scan right here. You gotta be active with your units. You can't just have them lying around doing nothing. And you don't need to attack in order to feel like you're doing anything with your units. As long as they're giving you information, it's totally fine. Your Overlord spread could be a little bit better. Let's talk about Overlord vision real quick. Alright, so a lot of people do this thing where they just stack Overlords in one spot. It's not horrible if you're not sure what to do, but these could be scouting for drops, or very possible, very predictable drop patterns. So I would put an Overlord over here. I like to put them by every base, so you could have one scouting the 3rd. You do have one here, which is good. And yeah, once again, because you don't have vision of this, you have no fucking clue this is coming. That's not the right button. Oh wait, he turned around for some reason. Or he's not sure what to do. A little bit of hesitation. You do have units. This is also why you want to control this. Because even if you don't see the front, you would have at least seen this. Another thing about Overlords is I like putting them by the pedestals. The pedestals. Whatever the fuck these are called. Like these things. You don't want to put them on every single one, but you gotta remember that unless he has a medevac or some kind of high ground vision, he can't kill the Overlord. And an Overlord right here would have done fine early game. In fact, it would have been fine to put the first Overlord right here. Doing a better job with your upgrades. Looks like it's gonna be Roach Zergling. The thing about Bio is you always want AoE of some sort. Because it will fuck you up if it's big enough. This doesn't look like it's big enough to really ruin you, as long as you catch these unsieged. But it's dangerous to not have Banelings, or at least Ravagers at this point in the game. I mean, you'll learn as you play. I learned the hard way. Is that it doesn't fucking matter how many Zerglings and Roaches you have, because if you don't have any AoE or splash damage, the Terran's just gonna run you over most of the time. Unless it's a particularly small army. And even then, he's still gonna get value if he has enough medevacs. So this is a bit of a nightmare scenario. Oh, hold on. I missed some kind of counterattack. I assume you sent the Zerglings over here? Now this is good. I actually like this idea. Very common to try to attack into somebody as they're attacking you. It's not always going to work, and granted, this isn't like game-ending damage in any universe, but the point is it's pulling the Terran's attention away from your side of the map. So you could exploit him. You could fuck him up. And obviously you want to focus more on controlling this side of the map than over here. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to just right-click into the mineral line. It wouldn't have been amazing, but it would have been better than you suiciding them into the bunker. And you'd probably get a few workers. And he doesn't have that many workers anyways, right? So every little worker you kill you get makes a big difference at this point. And I imagine we're gonna die to this push. Yeah, we don't even have the same supply as Terran. You are making Ravagers now. This is why you want to have them early so this doesn't happen. Where you just lose your natural. On a side note, I like that you have the 4th. It's a little bit ballsy to do that. I wouldn't really recommend rushing a 4th unless you are sure your Terran opponent is not capable of killing you in the meantime. Alright, targeting the tanks, I like that. Ooh, this is a really good No, don't turn around. Alright, you're playing a little bit scared. This was a mistake. You gotta stay on that. Let's back it up. Like, you wreck this, as far as I can tell. There's no way you lose this fight at this point. You're surrounding him with Zerglings. Okay, he positioned his tanks like a dumbass, so they can just die immediately. And he doesn't have that many medevacs either, so he can only stem for so long. So these are done. You kill these immediately, and make him regret sieging right here. And then that's a lot of AoE. The biggest thing about Terran is they are very reliant on AoE. You kill these, there's not much Terran can do. And you have these to keep the Bio army busy anyways. You'll be drawing their fire. And you want to focus the Corrosive Bile on the tanks, by the way. I know it's tempting to use it on the Bile. You don't necessarily have to use every single Bile at once, but you gotta kill these as soon as they're in range. Because they're gonna deal so much sustained damage because you didn't deal with them early. Like, you already have the Ravagers to deal with the Bile army. Okay, so we don't die in that last push. In that particular push. It was very, very close. At this point, I'm only making Roaches. And I'm trying to get Ravagers. Zerglings at this point are not going to do much of anything to this. Because first of all, that's a lot of Marines. And second of all, he's got 3 medevacs. And yeah, it kind of goes without saying that you don't want your army to get caught in half like this. So you want to keep the Zerglings over here. Yeah, attacking them like this, you gotta attack with everything at once. You got a lot of drones not doing anything. These guys needed to be rallied to either your third, or your fourth, or your new third, or your main. They can't just be sitting there. And you did have a window of time where you could have transferred these workers. Gotten a little bit better of an economy. Yeah, you have better upgrades. Like, you're not actually in that bad of a position. And Zerglings, you gotta have Banelings. If you don't have Banelings, you're not killing this. Okay, focusing the tank. That's a good move. Or you might kill it, but it's gonna be a lot less efficient. Oh yeah, you're not beating this at all. That's why Zerglings suck dick without AoE. Just roaches and ravagers. And yeah, at that point, the Terran overwhelms us. GG.